96.5 KLH. Daryl Stuermer is in the studio with us right now. Daryl, how are you?
I'm good. Well, I'm a little tired. But
this is one of the songs you guys played at Live Earth?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
At Land of Confusion.
Land of Confusion. You had to think about that because you've had so many shows.
Yeah, because that was the only odd show that we did. I mean, the only off of our normal tour.
Mm-hmm.
So how many you got under your belt right now?
About 25, I think.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's
Wow.
it's incredible looking at the list of all the shows and the places you've been, and you go back. The North American tour resumes September 7th.
Yes, in Toronto.
All right, and when do you leave and start that?
I leave on the 1st because we're doing some rehearsals first. We're doing production rehearsals because we actually have to scale down our stadium show for arenas. It doesn't mean it's going to be small. It just means it can fit in an arena. Right now, our show that we have doesn't even fit in any of the arenas in the United States or Canada. But in fact, in Toronto and Montreal, we are doing a stadium. So we're going to rehearse for 4 days in this arena, and then we're going to have a night off, and then we're going to play Toronto in a stadium.
Okay, wow, that's kind of weird.
And we're doing Giant Stadium in New York as well. Plus, we're doing Madison Square Garden, so those will be 2 different stages.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the production team is obviously, I mean, they've got to be just as sharp as possible.
Yeah.
And you said last time you were here, you actually have, there's like 2 complete sets where they go ahead and they
Yes.
set everything up.
I was wrong, there's 3.
3?
Yeah, I thought there
Okay.
was only 2, because that's what it was the last time we did this.
Tell us about the Rome show. I've been reading about that Rome show you guys did.
Yeah, it was the biggest show we've ever played. It was for free, and I wish I could tell you the area it was in. It was in Rome, outside of Rome, but it wasn't in the Coliseum or anything like that because this many people wouldn't fit in.
I was going to say, what would fit?
Yeah, it was 500,000. Wow. And I thought, what is this, the fireworks in Milwaukee?
Yeah.
That's got to be like akin to that crowd that was waiting outside when the Pope had died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the pilgrimage to go and
Did you
wait.
put white smoke on the stage? No, never mind.
Isn't the Coliseum now Pac Bell Coliseum over there?
Cellular. I don't know. But anyway, it was a great experience because, in most of the stadiums we play, we have a thing called a delay tower. In other words, your PA system is right there by your stage. Then there's another tower about halfway through because it takes a while for music to get somewhere.
Sure.
And you want to project it, so you have a delay tower. So that it's delayed by a certain amount of seconds, before the music gets there. In this particular instance, we had 3 delay towers. And we also had another set of screens halfway back.
Wow.
So if I could actually see myself on the screen if I play something, but it was delayed. So it kind of screwed me up, so I didn't watch it.
And there's going to be a DVD of that too, right?
Yes,
the
there is.
Rome show is actually going to be out on DVD.
I can't imagine taking the stage and looking at, the sea of people at just even stadium tour, stadium concerts is impressive. But when you stand up and you look out and you can't see, it's nothing but people, and then you can't see the end.
No, you couldn't see the end. And the only way I knew it was the end, I saw a bus go by. And if that bus was going by, he was going over people.
Okay.
So that was probably the end of it right there.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah.
Now, did you get a chance in all these shows you played in Europe to do any sightseeing at all, or was it very regimented?
It was pretty regimented, and we didn't have much time off.
Okay.
It was pretty much, a day off was usually a travel day.
Okay.
But, during the day, maybe if you were there the day before, you could walk around for a few hours that day.
Now, what was the most difficult show on the tour? What was the most difficult thing?
It was in Katowice, Poland. And why that was difficult was because it was raining all day. It was storms and rain all day. In fact, on my website, you can actually see, we have some photos of it, that while we were playing, there was lightning and a storm going off. And they were ready to pull us off the stage because we had just, I would say by about the 3rd song, I thought they were going to pull us off. It's not because it's raining. It's because it was thundering and it was lightning.
Sure.
Okay.
And while I was playing, there was rain actually coming in. Well, we have this little plastic covering over the top. It's not a little plastic covering, but it's a plastic covering that goes over us. But the rain was pouring in. The wind was blowing so hard. And we have things, our keyboards and our pedal boards are on the floor. They were all full. They actually have plastic over them. And when I would step on those, it was like a puddle. And I was hoping my effects pedals weren't getting ruined, all electronics.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't because they were really well covered. But you would step on it and it would be a splash. And that's how bad it was up there. And we
But
were
you
all,
had a full crowd though, I bet, huh?
yeah, well, that's the thing. It was the hardest, most difficult show we did. But at the same time, you look out there, and all these Polish people were just looking up, covering their heads, and they're smiling. They were having
Sure.
such a great time. And you have to remember that these people, especially in Europe, because these are not reserved seats, you're standing. All of the stadiums you play are only sitting on the outside, but on the main floor, they're all standing. And so they are there 2.5 to 3 hours early. So they're standing in the rain all day, and then we come up and play, and we're on for about 2.5 hours. So they're there all day. I've always thought, how do these people get their spot back if they have to go to the toilet? You know,
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
do. So I asked somebody that yesterday. I was doing an interview for a Prague newspaper. When I say Prague, I don't mean Prague music. I mean from Prague, Czech Republic.
Yeah, right,
You know,
right.
And I said something. She said something to me about the people standing, and I said, I always have to. How do people get back to? She says they don't go to the toilet. They make sure that they don't drink water while they're out there, so they can keep their
Well, that
spot.
can't be safe.
I mean, come
Yeah.
on, you know. But it was really a great show because after about 3 songs, the rain wasn't blowing in anymore, so we could continue on, and there was no lightning.
Okay.
But it was really a rewarding show because we didn't have to cancel anything, any of the songs. We just did our normal set list, and we were all wearing caps and raincoats. And
That is funny.
And Tony Banks made a funny thing because he never saw us. I've never worn a cap when I played. And he said, I looked over, it was like AC/DC. Yeah.
Minus the knickers. Yeah.
Right.
How about celebs who came out to the show? Any big time celebrities?
Yeah, well, actually, one of my favorites was in Leipzig, Germany. There's a bass player that I work with all the time named Leland Sklar.
Right.
He's on my records as well, but I work with him in Phil Collins' band. And now he's with Toto. So he brought all the guys from Toto.
Oh, okay.
They were on tour in Europe. And they all came to the show. They sat out at the soundboard, and my wife Michaela said that they were like the greatest audience. They were like yelling and screaming, going, all right! And then one guy would yell, the keyboard player yelled back to Steve Lukather, and he'd say, we should do that one. We should do that song.
Yeah,
You know?
that's funny.
And they were just supposed to be a great audience. I mean, they were really great guys to meet them all. I've met some of them before.
Mhm.
I'm not, a lot of the originals aren't there, but Steve Lukather and Bobby Kimball is still in the
Okay.
group. But Leland is substituting for, I guess one of their bass players has hurt his hand or something, or wrist. And so Leland is doing the
No
tour.
real Hollywood types.
Well, no, but I have this funny story. We played in Paris.
Okay.
And we were staying at this beautiful